Mark, we're back here in the studio recording another episode, and it's kind of been a crazy couple of days. Election's officially over, thank goodness.
I think no matter which party you are on, everybody just is ready to take like a big deep breath and go, okay, time to now move forward, time to focus on what you can control. In fact, I tried to stay up like I do every election, right? And it seemed like it was going to be yet another long into the evening. And you know what? I finally said, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to go to bed because at the end of the day, no matter who gets elected, we gotta wake up. We gotta put our clothes on. We gotta go to work and controlling the things that we can control. And so as I thought about like what we would talk about on this podcast, controlling the things that we can control is really a good thing, especially when it comes to marketing. So yes, finally, election's over. We're going to start seeing all the data and things. So from a marketing standpoint, this gives you and I as marketers a lot of new research. 2025 marketing is going to be a fun one. I think that there's a lot of excitement going on. Still have fundamental challenges that people are going to be worried about. Still have answers that we got to help people with. So, look, we're survivors, and the economy, the United States economy is full of survivors and entrepreneurs. So what a great time to be in the United States. What a great time to be in financial services. And most importantly, what a great time to be with Producers Prospect and what we're doing.
Oh, it's awesome. It's interesting you brought that up about just kind of taking that next step and now moving forward. It's past us. The election's past us. But now that it's over, the real question is, okay, we got to move on. We got to build that plan. We're in the last couple months of Q4 of 2024. Let's talk about planning for 2025.
Well, first and foremost, having a plan and planning today. The old saying of, what you do today, what activity you do today, you're not going to see that, result tomorrow, but what you will see it is 6 weeks, right, down the road. You're going to finally start to see the results from that marketing. So one, if you've been waiting, if you've been sitting on your hands, if you've been kind of watching and waiting for what the market's going to do, you might be already behind, So don't wait till January 1st to start thinking about what you're going to do in 2025. Start planning immediately. There's still time, but I like to say as goes the first quarter of the year, goes the remainder of the year. And if you can come out with this hot start, if you can be prepared and you have your systems up and running and in place, it's that much easier to wake up January 1st. It's not daunting anymore. Like, yeah, you have those other goals, personal maybe, and things that you're like, okay, I'm going to start January 1st. Marketing and planning starts now. It's what you do in the third and fourth quarter is going to bring those results into the first half of the year. So I think having a clear plan and thinking about those different funnels, so you start to review sort of what happened in 2024 and 2023, really, of the things that are working, the things that weren't working, understanding those main funnels of where your investors are coming in from. How are they buying? What did you say when you made that sale? All those things kind of come in together to then say, okay, now what do we want to do in 2025? So where do you start? You got to start with a goal in mind. So how many new A clients? I like to break the business down kind of easily like this, where I segment my clients in that A, B, and C category. Probably most of us are in that 80-20 rule. 80% of our revenue comes from 20% of our clients. So if I was thinking about my goals for 2025, it's not just how many new clients can I bring on, or how much annuity premium can I write, or how much life insurance, or how much AUM. What I would be kind of thinking about is, how do I duplicate my A client? Like if you think about most advisors' practices, they spend far too much time with the B and C clients, yet they're extremely happy. They know how to help, and they feel like they probably make the most amount of money with those A clients. So get a goal. Start with a goal. To start with a goal, understand the value of what your A client is. What's that worth, right? How much is that A client worth to you? And then you want to decide, working the math backwards, how much I want to make per month. Therefore, how many new A clients do I need to bring on monthly to make what I want to make so that I'm hitting my end result goal?
Yeah.
That would then, James, tell me how much other marketing should be happening. Meaning, if I did a review on my book of business and I said, gosh, I had these CPAs or these professionals, they provided me with X amount of favorable introductions to these A clients. So you can kind of earmark that, right? I'm going to get sort of that. I need to put a process. Maybe that's one pillar of your income. Favorable introductions, duplicating your best A clients. How many from the seminar? How many seminars do I need to do? I get that one all the time. How many dinners should I be doing? How many educational events should I be doing? Well, let's go work that number backwards. And then things like the glue that I would say the glue that holds all marketing together is drip and podcast and brand experience items, really putting that all together. So I think one of the things that you're doing every single day for our people is laying out that calendar. Let's get the old calendar out today. Break that calendar up into different categories. And then in those categories, segment it out of new client events. Maybe client recognition should be one, or acts of appreciation. What social events are going on throughout those months that you have to be at, right? Get in your local calendar, find out when those black tie events are, social items that you can be a part of. That's going to breed and bring marketing. The nonprofit organizations that you can be a part of, have that laid out every single week of the month.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're more than happy to help with.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. With that, let's talk about maybe some specifics. On some of these episodes, we've talked about seminars, we've talked about drip, we've talked about marketing. Let's get into some unique examples that we've seen. We had a call today with a guy that was using seminars in a unique way to drive some great success into their business. So I'd love our listeners to hear some specific examples of different advisors who have taken some of these planning steps that we've talked about for a long time and made it their own and had tremendous success with it.
Well, I'm right there with you. What I love is digging into advisors' practices and finding out that most advisors kind of have a niche or niche, right? Most of them have the person that they just connect really well with. And what's so funny is a lot of times people don't really, once you draw it out of them, they can kind of see that. Oh my gosh, I work with widows. Oh my gosh, I work with lots of federal employees. I didn't even know that was kind of my main thriving part of my business, because unfortunately, most of us, go through the business of if you can fog a mirror, you can be a client, right? But the reality is if that you had, a specific type of person that you found out was your ideal client and that you duplicated that person over and over again, the business almost becomes flipping hamburgers and French fries. It becomes a franchise model once you can figure it out. And the particular guy you're talking about has found a need and fill a need. And one of the big things that are on people's mind when we do any type of mass marketing and we ask for what people have on their mind, estate planning just happens to be one of those massive topics that people are concerned about. So this particular advisor has found a way to take estate planning from a financial planning aspect and bring the education to people in different formats, and found a way to own a specific market that now opens up doors. And it's not the same dinner seminar over and over again, or it's not the same free educational seminar. That business, when I look at that business model, as people age, no matter what generation we're talking about, there's always going to be a need for an estate plan. People are always going to be a need to get educated because, let's just face it, there's no class. They don't teach you this stuff in college. And so you can have a thriving business forever because it's always going to be around. You are in the service business of this because you're educating and teaching people about wills and trusts and different strategies to help that estate planning when those times are tough, when a loved one is gone, and now what happens. Helping people really set up those legacies that we've always talked about. This is a great way to do it, where people have then I hate to say their guard down because that feels like you're trying to bait and switch somebody. But through that education, you can build a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
And then through that relationship, it unlocks the doors to make more sales with people. Right.
Well, and I think that's just it. I mean, it's the honest, truthful advisors and the ones that are good are building relationships. It's not a bait and switch at all. It's just a way to build relationships. And at the end of the day, if your marketing isn't accomplishing at least that, then it's probably not going to be successful anyways. So I love this approach that he's using to solve an actual need that people have. It just so happens that it's an underserved area, and then he's able to, because of the relationship that's been built, transition over to the financial planning and management side of it too. And he's built a very successful business because of that approach.
You know, marketing is all about being consistent. You got to show up in all different types of markets with the same story, same branding, same message. It's like if you closed your eyes and you thought about the Disney logo, you would know exactly what that looks like in your mind. You know what color it is. As soon as I started saying that, you were probably hearing the music of the intro of a Disney movie. That's marketing, right? Is being that consistent that people just know and understand what the value is, and then being able to cross all different markets to bring that message together. So as we talk about and start to wrap up this end of this fourth quarter, is there still time to do business? What you do today is going to represent what happens in the next few weeks, 6 weeks. I don't know about you, but I want business through the holidays and at the beginning of the year, and that just makes life that much better. So where maybe traditional dinner seminars of people that you don't know, maybe those wind down from Thanksgiving to the end of the year. What should be happening are maybe second dates or third dates that I like to say. So maybe those things that you could be doing are simple educational events on estate planning or Social Security or taxes. If you're not talking about taxes right now, certainly you should be with people, but getting out and educating them. Here we are, we're coming out of a new election, new president. If I have a big client base, I'm probably putting together a newsletter. I'm probably putting together some sort of conference call, webinar, podcast, something that I can record to get out and educate my people immediately, because investors want to hear from their advisor. You should be leading the charge to educate them. So those things, some sort of client appreciation event, no better time than getting into the holidays to be surrounded by each other and friends and family and hosting together. Bring them into your house. A fun one is have a toy drive or a food drive at your house. Bring people in to your place and then do something fun. We go to different events every year that we look forward to at people's homes, whether it's like a musical night or a nice fancy dinner, or shoot, it could be a fun, ugly sweater Christmas party. Like all those things are marketing, are business building. And I think it's kind of fun this time of the year to do some creative things, more than just sending a Christmas card.
Yeah.
More than just putting out Harry and David and keeping Harry and David, every year in business. Like, do something more and extra, and then count, track the amount of new people you got introduced to by doing those events. The thing about marketing is if you're not capitalizing on it, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have done it anyways.
Right.
So if the back end, if the glue in between those things you're doing, if they're set up well, then it should look like this. If I was going to have a big party, Christmas party at my house, and clients were going to come, they were going to bring referrals, certainly you should be the one driving the guest list. I don't know, it probably makes sense to send a thank you card to those people that came to your event. So you should be getting that information. You should be tracking that, sending that thank you card. Then, hey, maybe the next educational event you should do, maybe you want to invite those people that came to your Christmas party. In between that, all the drip marketing, other things that you're doing should be keeping that alive together.
It seems like on this topic, it's one thing to create a plan, but almost what you're talking about too is in the middle of creating your plan, your marketing plan for 2025, think about create your actual customer experience or your client experience. What does it look like? If you were on the receiving end of what you're giving to your prospects, would you appreciate it?
So one of the things that we were talking about, the advisor with the estate planning seminar business, and you and I think we were both going to the same place. I may have beat you just one step right before you, but what was shocking? Okay, so we just promoted as this guy's kind of got it going on. He found a need, fill a need. He's got a repeatable process. He's got just flows of leads. He knows how to work those leads and put them into a system. And then the aha moment came when I asked, out of all these years and out of all these seminars and about all these leads that have gone in, how are you doing your drip campaign? And he had zero answer to that.
Yeah.
And here he's probably sitting on so many opportunities of referrals or favorable introductions. How about missed assets that weren't collected in the first round? Hey, has something changed? Should we be doing a better review? So here's a guy who knows how to drive new people, new bodies in. Here's a guy that knows how to make sales. But are you getting the best ROI out of your book of business?
Yeah.
And I think that that's where we really set ourselves apart. And I hype you every single day that you are this kind of backbone secret sauce to what we're doing. Because if you don't have a drip strategy to keep those leads, I like to say no lead left behind.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want no lead out of all the marketing we're doing, we want no lead left behind. And so if you don't have that in place, you could have so much better of an ROI on your marketing that could feed you for a really long time, could build a really healthy practice, all by doing those simple things like drip marketing.
That's been the experience on how many advisors have we talked to?
Every day.
Every day. That's the scenario, right? Is, yeah, we've done all these marketing initiatives. We've gotten all these leads. And what are you doing with them now? Nothing. It is. It's a huge missed opportunity. I mean, I get it, right? It's hard to be the one to, if you're the sales guy, that is your bread and butter. That's what you're really good at. It's hard to then transition over and find time to be the creative guy, to create all the emails, create all the campaigns, put it all together in an automated system. And that is where we can help out for sure.
Well, I'll tell you even more than that. It's not just hard on the advisor. It's hard on the advisor because they always want to make new sales. And the lulls in the business, when the business kind of slows up or dries up a bit, and the advisor's going like, oh, we need to do another seminar. We need to get going. You know who the biggest stress of this is on? The pressure comes back to the administrative team. The pressure comes back to the marketing team. And so what I like to say is, Mrs. Advisor, not only do we want to help you do the things that you don't want to do or you don't do well, keep staying in front of people. But what we don't want to do is add additional pressure to your staff. Your staff members, they already have it earmarked in their minds that this is their daily tasks. This is what you pay them. Hopefully there's a bonus structure in there. But the reality is they're living on what you pay them a month. They've earmarked, this is the amount of hours, the time to do my job, punch in, punch out. This is what I need to do. And then you want to start some new marketing. And all of a sudden, they're part of the marketing team too. All of a sudden, they're working at night. They're doing seminars with you. Probably not paying them extra, which I think you should. Now they got to deal with that. Now they got to become event planners. Now they got to become drip marketers. So I think that the difference of what we've tried to create at Producers Prospect for people is that we're an extension of your team.
Yeah.
And instead of you doing it, you trying to figure it out, you try to navigate the compliance world, what to send, when to say, am I saying enough? How do I get that call to action? Is somebody tracking the results? Take it off the people that are most important to you. Delegate it to us. Let us implement the strategies and watch the ROI go up. Watch your calendar continue to get filled up because you've got lost opportunities that are now filling your calendars, making more sales, hiring more people on, growing a real business.
Yeah. Let us do what we're good at so that you can do what you're great at. And
I just said all of that, and you said it better than I did in 3 words.
well, I think that's such a good point, and I think it's reality that it can be overwhelming. We'll come in, we'll help them.
That's it. Who is Producer's Prospect? We stand by the 3 Ps: prospect, produce, and prosper. These are those things we're thinking about in your practice every day. How are we gonna prospect? How are we gonna help you get in front of people? Then you got to produce. Can we help you be as efficient as possible to help your business run as smoothly so that you will ultimately prosper, that you get to those goals, those dreams? You're finally in the boat, during the summer that you want. You finally want to take those extended vacations. You finally want to give the legacy that maybe your parents never gave you. And we want to be with you every step of the way. James, thanks for this was awesome. I'm looking forward to wrapping up this year and looking into next year. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming down.
Stuff coming up.
We got a new, we just locked down our great incentive trip for next year. We're making some massive moves from marketing, so stay tuned and buckle up. Get your rest over the holiday because, man, we're going to come out firing this year.